Hey everybody! If you know anything about YouTube and you watch food channel stuff, there's this guy called Guga Foods, and every time he's about to eat a really good piece of steak, he goes, "Hey everybody, bon appetit." Well, we're about to eat a really good piece of kit. The center stand from Outback Motortek. Let's get started.
Photo Adventures is on the road.
Let's go over all of the tools and the pieces of equipment and hardware that we're going to need and that Outback Motortek sent. Of course, there is the center stand itself. We have a bracket that the springs hook on. We have an inner spring that goes inside the outer spring. We have a spacer for the left hand side. We have a spacer for the right hand side. We have a rubber bumper that goes on the back side here, so when you lift it up, that stops it from hitting metal on your bike. We have a screw for that bumper, or a bolt for that bumper, an Allen key, which is a 4mm. We have a socket and a Torx, which is a 45. Then we have a spring puller, and we always need a good bit of lube. Oh yeah, and we need really sticky Smurf blood. It comes in blue. Before I start loosening any bolts, let's just take a second. The reasons for a center stand. The biggest one is you can't take a paddock stand with you on a travel trip, right? But really, it is for simplicity and the ease of doing a little bit of minor maintenance and upkeep to your bike when you're on the road. Even just something as simple as tightening your chain or lubing your chain or whatever, putting it on a center stand means the rear wheel gets up off the ground and you can spin it freely while it's in neutral, take care of that kind of stuff. Obviously, there are more benefits than that. When Mark from Outback Motortek saw that I had traded in Zebra and got myself a new bike, he immediately mentioned to me that, hey, you're gonna need some stuff, aren't you? And I was like, well, yeah, of course I am. So here we go. Let's start unloosening some bolts. Unloosening, that would be tightening. Let's start tightening some outtake. Let's identify which bolt we have to put this in there. The center stand's going to go on the motorcycle like this so that it will lift up this way. And obviously, these are the hinges. So we have to identify the bolts that we need to remove. And if you will look directly underneath the foot peg and directly behind the side stand, there's a bolt that goes through and into this apparatus here. It also, you can tell very easily because it has a nice wide spot where this piece is going to sit. Torx 45 right here, and just take the bolt out. There is a spacer back behind here where we took this bolt out that sits here. To get that out, it's pretty tight. To get that out, just loosen this front bolt a couple of turns, and then this spacer just falls right out. Let's put the bumper on. Gotta have the bumpers. Little bit of Loctite, just because. And a bunch of Newton meters. There. So now we put in the spacers with a little bit of grease. Always a little bit of grease. When in doubt, grease it. That's what they say anyway. I don't know who they are, but that's what they say. That in there. Oh, we got to do the right size. That one goes over there because it's the same width. We'd have figured that out real quick, I think. Oops. The thing about grease is it's slippery. Gotta love that. Put this over here, like that. Wipe our hands off with a shirt that matches the bike, Chris pointed out. His color science is a little off though. All right, so this goes like this. Boom. All right, so now we got the spacers in. We just position this in the right spot. And we Loctite, put a little bit of Loctite on this. Let's go ahead and get this ready. so we don't have to hold this up there. Because once the center stand gets into position, it's going to be easy to get this bolt in, hopefully. So we raise this up in the gap like this. And then we slide the bolt back through where it went before. All right, so now that this is in, I'm not going to tighten it up. I'm going to go look at the other side. This side is basically the same, except that there's one little extra component, and that is the spring clip. So let's put a little bit of Loctite on the bolt, put the bolt in, but just enough to hold it there. Then we put the spring clamp, or the spring clip in. Notice that it has this V. This portion here is going to be basically parallel with the earth because there is a lip on the inside that'll keep it from rotating up. So we put it on the back side between the spacer, the center stand, and the inside flange of the motorcycle bracket. And then we screw it together. The other thing I want to do is tighten this one back up because I did loosen it just a hair so that the spacer would fall out. The original one. And come back on the other side, finish off this side, the bolt on this side. We can look up the Newton meters. We'll put it right here. And then remember, I loosened this one, so I'm going to tighten that one back up as well. Just to hand tight for now, and then we'll check it later. So now we have to go back to the other side and do the fun part. So if you see, the springs are shaped the same. The hook goes the same direction and the hook goes the same direction. But this small one goes inside the large one. And we hook both of them up at the same time on the top. And then we secure the small one first. So I have a puller. And this is the part where you find out just how manly you really are. No way. No way. So it was really easy with these big bolts and lining everything up and putting the spring bracket in the right spot and lifting everything into place. And then when we got to these springs, the little one was easy, but neither one of us are Lou Ferrigno, Arnold Schwarzenegger, or The Rock. And so trying to pull the big spring to hook it over this hook took everything that we had, and we still couldn't pull it hard enough to get it over the thing. So what we did was, and we didn't do this on camera because, well, we were struggling. We put a piece of wood underneath here to lift it up so that we can get some leverage. Chris pulled on the big spring, and then I took an oversized flathead and then stuck it in the large spring and then gave him a little bit of extra so that we could hook it over the loop. That's not in the manual. That's all I'm saying. But we're done. We got a stand up here. Let's get this out of the way. We got a center stand that has good Lord, a really good spring on it. The other thing we did was we took the bumper out because that's a good ½ inch of coverage that we had to help us get the spring on. So while I'm putting this back on, I want to thank you for watching. This is Outback Motortek center stand with a super duper heavy duty spring. Super easy installation, except for that spring. So if you like to watch us struggle, hit the like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can get those notifications when we put out new content. We're going to finish this up and then we're going to move on to the next Outback Motortek installation. Thanks for watching.
Let's sit outside and take a motorcycle ride across the